Hi, and welcome to the second Women Reinventing Midlife Summit. My name is Deb Johnston, and like you, I'm in the second half of my life. I've been through two midlife transitions now, and that's why I want to show you how you can rediscover you, find new direction, and thrive in your next chapter. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you Lisa Copeland. So Lisa is a leading internationally recognized love coach and dating expert for women over 50. She is an Amazon bestselling author. She's featured in the Huffington Post and has appeared on ABC and Fox. Lisa inspires and teaches women how to feel confident, empowered, and joyful dating after 50. Lisa, welcome. I'm so happy you've joined us.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me here, Deb.
I'm intrigued with what you're going to share with us today because, we've talked before and I said that I started a relationship 3 years ago and it's the best relationship I've ever had. So I'm really, really interested to hear what you're going to share. But first, I'd love it if you'd share a little bit about your own personal transitional midlife story.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, I had two marriages. One was 24 years. I had my children. Then I had a short relationship, like 2.5 years. And then I had an even shorter second marriage, 2 years. And the second two men said to me, Lisa, you don't know how to let a man be a man. And I said, the first time I heard it, I was like, no, they're crazy. I always got along really well with men. And then I heard the second time and I thought, oh gosh, something's going on here. And that is when I started to learn about men. And I think that is one of the biggest secrets to successfully dating in this next part of life is really understanding men. Because I did go back to my first husband and I said to him, did I emasculate you? And he said, no, I wouldn't have let you. He was strong, but he was also in a different phase of life, as was I. We were building together. And after 50, it's a totally different phase. So that's what led me on this journey. And my clients will say to me that understanding men is one of the biggest things that help them get the guy. And I have men write me and say, thank you for sharing this. I wish women got it. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I know because I have single girlfriends,
Hmm.
and I know when I was single and I was in the online dating world and that sort of thing, it was trying to understand why men um, react in certain ways, why they don't do something while they do something, and it's really quite confusing.
It really is. It is. And women will say to me, are you asking me to lie down and be a doormat? And I'm like, absolutely not. You just have to, you just not have to. You want to learn the language men speak and hear and where they are at this time in your life, because what it'll do is it'll help you get your needs met. And most of the time, as women, we start to overgive because we're not getting our needs met. And then we're actually training men to stop giving to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And the giving is a masculine energy too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And as women, we were taught to be nurturers. So to us, overgiving is natural. But what you're doing when you overgive is you're actually saying to a man, I don't trust you to take care of things. So I'm just going to take care of them. And we do that because as women, we've had to struggle when we've been divorced and been single with kids or whatever it is we had to face. We had to do it for ourselves. And we became very, very strong, very powerful. But to come back into a relationship, you want to let men give to you because that is really their greatest joy is to make you happy and to really give to you and make your life easier.
Mm.
That makes sense?
It really makes sense. It was something that I was actually quite aware of when I went into this relationship that I'm in now, is that asking for help
Mhm.
and allowing him to help me, actually accepting his offers for help in saying, no, no, that's okay, I'll sort it out, or which is what we tend to do, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I had a friend who was on the train in Switzerland, and she knows all this from us talking, and she's talking to a man about this very subject about giving. And they're on this train and they're ready to get off, and she stands up because she's got something big up in the compartments above. He says, "Let me get that for you." And you know what she said to him?
I can imagine.
No.
No.
That's right. She said no. I'm sure that, and she realized later, oh my God, I just reverted back to old behavior of taking care of myself.
Mm,
And you can still take care of yourself, but do you really want to do 90 or 100% of the work anymore?
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah.
So yeah, and the thing you got to understand is men come from a whole different space than we as women do. We come from a place of community and what is best for the community. Men come from a place of being your hero and making your life better. So in a way, what you're doing is when you don't let him help you down, like with that suitcase my friend had, you actually emasculate him without realizing it. And I used to do that like it was my job, emasculate men. I didn't even realize I was doing it. But that's part of how you're doing it, is not letting men give to you and thinking you have to do it all.
That's amazing, because it's another example of that man being the provider, isn't it? It's, yeah,
Yeah.
man providing you with help. Yeah, it's,
Well, it's in their DNA coding.
yeah.
Alpha males want to keep you safe, protected, and provided for. So in the caveman days, they would go off and they would hunt, and they would bring back the food and the the coats of the animals to make clothing out of, things like that.
Mm.
And the women would be a community. They would sit around the fire, they would watch the children, and they would talk because they had to keep the animals away. And men had to be quiet and very single focused, or they would have been the food for the animal. So this is, another way that we sort of disconnect. And so women would talk, they would also, an interesting thing is they would give the best food to the men. And we saw our grandmothers do this, where they would give the best food to their husband, because the husband was the provider, and they knew if there was no one to provide for them, they would be in trouble.
Yeah. Right. So it's all instinctive, isn't it? It's just a natural instinct. And I think women, we've got into that, that equality thing, which is a good thing anyway. It is a good
Yeah.
thing, but I think sometimes we've taken it a little bit too far, and the men are still in that instinctive phase where their instinct is
Yes.
to look after us and provide. Yeah.
Yes, and equality. So can we talk about that for a
Yeah,
second?
let's talk about it. Yeah.
So I came into my second marriage like, I am woman, let me roar. And I wasn't about anything except me having the biggest remote control, I had to be I was so powerful. And that's why he said to me, Lisa, you don't know how to let a man be a man. He was right. Number one, I never got his cooperation on anything. I just thought I knew how to do it. And I really did know how to do it. So
Yeah.
that was not the best choice on my part. I needed a different guy back then, but this was all before I was a dating coach. So equality really comes from our strengths. And as women, our strengths are our hearts. We bring vulnerability and softness where a man feels safe with us, because we have this soft side and because they can protect us. They want to protect us. And men bring the logical brain. That does not mean women are not smart. They are. Men love smart women. Men just don't want to be told what to do, where to do, and how to do it. And just like they probably will not tell you, an emotionally healthy man will not tell you how to do things like we tell them. And so that's really, really important, that You have to recognize they come from the logical brain and we come from the heart.
Mm,
And we sort of lost that during the years of women's lib. It was really, I am woman, let me roar, let me step on you to get ahead. So we also lost the cooperation of men too. And that was a problem and can
mm,
still be, because men are in conflict. They're there to protect you. And if you come in as their competition, they're not going to protect you. They figure you've got this, you're
yeah,
strong enough, you take it over. And sometimes it's nice to have someone that has our back.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
sometimes, a lot of times.
absolutely. And so, and then women go into that, oh, he never does anything around the house, or he doesn't do anything to help, but we've actually trained them to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have, because what we'll do is we'll go in and criticize everything they do
Mm,
because we really want it done our way. So
yeah.
we're giving them a mixed message. On one hand, we're asking them to help us. And on the other hand, what's happening is we're saying we don't trust you to do it. So can I give you an example of that?
Yeah, I can think of one as well. Yeah, go.
You can give yours. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking of the bed making situation. It's like you look at the way he's done it and you think, oh, it looks terrible. And you go and do it again.
And you train them how to doing it.
Yeah.
Now, it's probably better to find jobs that you're each good at
Yeah.
instead of, and you have to be able to trust him, because we as women really don't trust men a lot of times to get it done right. We
Mm,
don't, because we have it our way and we want it to be our way.
yeah.
And so we give off the message, I don't trust you to take care of me. So a man will say, hey, I'll never do anything right in her eyes. So why should I bother?
Yeah.
That's how women end up turning men off to helping.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, it's important in a dating situation, but it's also important in a relationship that we already have as well, to understand why we've possibly created the situation ourselves, that
Hmm.
yeah, that we haven't allowed them to actually act according to their true nature, that we've we've tried to be it all instead of having that balance the way it's meant to be. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
the real thing is coming to the table with each of your strengths.
Mm.
And you want to have, and you, so that you trust a guy. Don't tell him to make the bed if he's really bad at it, because it's just going to be a constant source of friction between the two of you. And find something he's really great at, because one of the things men feel is that we don't appreciate them enough. And we oftentimes really don't, because we're very busy criticizing them. And what they do is not good enough for us.
Yeah. 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 That's it. Yeah. That is quite often the case, isn't it? Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. So
So,
turning that around and start noticing what they are good at and acknowledging that.
yes,
Yeah.
that is like the best gift you can give them.
Mm.
And if you ask a man to do something for you, like even in the grocery store, if you went up to the guy in the produce department and asked him, I'm going to bake a pie and I need sweet yet sour apples. What do you recommend? You watch his chest puff up. He will go scurry off. He'll get what you need and he'll give it to you. And what will we do? We'll drop the apples right there. So what happens is, if when you drop the apples, when you ask a man his opinion, he really does try and do his best. But when you ask his opinion and you don't follow it, again, he thinks, why am I wasting my time? You're not going to take my advice anyway. Now, let's also preface that we're talking about fairly emotionally healthy men. We're not talking about men that are abusive or men that are a little off the wall. None of that. We're talking about good, decent men with all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an important point to make, isn't it? We're not
Mm.
talking about narcissists or, yeah, people that play games.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, okay. So we can practice that just in like everyday things. You just reminded me of when I went into the supermarket the other day, and I always do my best to buy organic. If the organic's there, I'll buy it. And the guy that was stocking in there said to me, just let me know if there's anything that's not there, that we might have it in the back. And it was exactly that, Lisa,
Yeah.
exactly that. I went, oh, I'm going to ask him if he's got any organic carrots in the back. And off he went. Yeah, the chest puffs. It's
Yes.
true. Yeah.
Yes. Men are wired to make us happy.
Yeah.
They really are. And we have to remember, see the difference. I mentioned earlier about community,
Mm,
and that we're wired for community and men are wired to be your hero. Well, as community, we're doing what's best for the community. So we process things as women. We'll go from point A to point F to point C to point D to point A and back again. And a man's like, what am I doing here? I can't follow this. And when he listens to you, he's listening to, what can I fix for you? Have you ever had it where they always have a solution and we're like, can't they just listen? It sounds like you've experienced that, Deb.
yeah. It is. It's one of the most common things I hear women complain about. It's like he just doesn't listen because he's listening. He's listening, but he's listening into how he can fix it. Yeah.
Because he wants to be your hero. He wants to make you safe, protected, and provided for. So there is a way to do that. So, and the funny thing is, by the way, men have said to me, Lisa, when you teach about us, will you teach that we can't follow stories that don't follow what we could do for you, because we're really only interested in you. So the way to keep that fixing thing from happening is you say to a man, can I share something with you? And of course he'll say yes, and you'll say, you know what, I just have to share this story. It will take less than 5 minutes and nothing needs fixing.
Yeah.
So he can relax for 5 minutes, he can hang in there. And for us, we as women fill up with everybody's stuff and all that processing, and then we need to dump it.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're doing, is we're dumping it. And a man's happy to do that as long as it doesn't go on for 30 minutes and you contain into a specific amount of time, like
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. I
You
like
know,
it. I like
if
it.
you need, if you just want to share a story to get it out.
I like it. And straight away he relaxes, go, oh, I don't have to fix anything. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. He can just listen. And when they say nothing and they just listen, we feel like we've got the best guy. Like he's really heard us. And because we get so irritated with that, I have to fix for you. And yet that is their wiring. That's their DNA coding. And we try and take that away
Yeah.
because we're so used to community coding.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are, which is all about, it's all about sharing. It's all about supporting each other. And with women, we don't feel like we have to fix anything. We just listen.
Right. And like we'll give, if someone asks our opinion, we'll give our opinions.
Mm,
And nobody takes it personally if we don't take their opinion, but a man, like I said before, if you're going to ask a man for his opinion, you need to listen. I
yeah,
mean, and you need to take it. So, because he figures he wasted his time and you're emasculating him. So
yeah,
you want to, be careful for what you ask, what you want. Be clear. Like, do you really want his opinion? Because you're going to have to take it if you're in a relationship to a degree, or you're going to have a really good reason that you don't,
yeah,
because he feels emasculated.
of course. And so, this really helps if we're in a relationship. So taking this into a dating situation then. So how do we let a man be a man in a dating situation?
So I had a client before she came to me. She told me this story happened to her. She went on a date with a guy. They met at a restaurant. This was pre-pandemic. They met at a restaurant and she really wanted a drink. And, she was a pretty powerful woman. I work with a lot of very powerful women who, by the way, they really want even more powerful men. They don't want someone that they have to be in charge of. So as they learn this understanding of men, they find they have way more power than before because they're not having to do it all alone anymore. But anyway, this is before she worked with me. So she she decided she wanted a drink, and she didn't ask the guy, you know what, I'm it's been a long day. I could really use a drink. She got up, she went and got the maitre d' to, or the, host or somebody to get those drinks. And then by the time the waiter got there and she had made this big to do, the man said, you just emasculated me. So I think that was the end of the date. But, of course you can go get your own drink. And of course you can do these own things, but God, let them do for you. It doesn't take a thing away from you. Let them pull your chair out. Let them open the door. Let them reach up into the top of an airplane. If you really notice when we're all flying even more, some people are now, a guy behind you, if that thing's heavy, they're going to say, can I help you with that?
Yeah.
And let them learn to receive. I think the hardest thing for us as women to do is to learn to receive because we're so used to giving.
Mm, that is so true. Yeah, it is so true. It's really because I know that we, as women, especially when we've been single for a long time, we learn how to be independent, right?
Hmm.
And it's or we've been independent for many years, and it's about seeing that letting someone get you a drink doesn't mean you're not independent. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And letting him get it, it's like
Mm,
he can give to you.
mm,
Yeah. So
yeah.
there is a language men speak in here that, do you want to hear that? That's
Yeah.
connected to that hero portion of them. So remember, is the hero response. It's to keep you safe, protected, and provided for. So if I said to you, now here's how women hear it. If I said to you, Deb, would you please help me move this table? What would you say?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, of course you would,
Yeah.
because it's
Mm,
better for the community.
mhm.
Whereas a man hears that, and who does he hear behind it? Honey, could you please move your shoes off the steps? Honey, could you please get your homework off the table before we have dinner? Who's that they're hearing?
That's a mother.
That's right. Because the
Yeah.
mother's community oriented. She wants to get
Yeah.
everything tidied up. So when you're asking a man, could you please whatever, my first husband used to say to me, you're ordering me around. And I would say, how am I ordering you around? I say please all the time. But I didn't understand this male concept of hero being the hero. So what a man hears is, when we say, I call them the 4 and the 5 magic words. The 4 magic words are, I need your help. And women have a hard time saying it because they think it makes them feel weak or come across as weak. But it actually triggers in a man to help you. Or could you do me a favor? That's the 5 magic words. Could you do me a favor? And that triggers the hero response as well.
Isn't that amazing? That is amazing. Rather
You're
than can you
there. I hear the bell. I
yes,
see
can
the
you, oh
people
my God. Rather
talking.
than can you do this, it's like, yeah, or I need your help. Yeah, I need your help with this.
And
Mm,
so many people turn that. And when I work with clients, I'll say, okay, I want you to say it out loud. I need your help. So they'll say, could you please help me? They just change it. If you keep it really simple to, I need your help, it says, I'm vulnerable in this moment. That's what he hears. And I need help fixing this. Where when you say, sometimes could you please help me works, but you got to be careful that it doesn't come with a demand at the end of it, or that it doesn't come across as demanding.
yeah.
And could you do me a favor also triggers men to, she needs my help. I can make her life easier. And we don't understand this, that they really want to make our lives easier. We just kind of see them as a big fat pain of somebody with different, different things to him, who wants to, who's making our life more difficult because he's not doing it the way we would do it. And yet, and we lose so much that way. So it's learning to pick your battles. And when you do need a guy's help, thank him and appreciate him, because then he'll do it again and again and again. And if you criticize, watch a man's, for a man to help, I said they puff out. But when you criticize, they come in. It's like when you say to a dog, no, a puppy, no, 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 and their heads go down.
Yeah.
That's how it is with men.
Right.
They're
Wow.
really very simple. I mean, they're not complicated like we are.
No.
We are, complicated. They really are not.
They're straightforward, aren't they? Yeah.
They really are.
Oh man, that's amazing. That is amazing. Lisa, you have a wonderful free gift to offer our audience, don't you?
I do. It's called the 5 Little Known Secrets for Finding a Quality Man. And I think you have a link for it somewhere along all this, right?
I do. Yeah. You can access Lisa's free gift on this page that you're watching the interview on now. So if you look underneath the video, there'll be a button or a link that you can click on there. Just click on it and download Lisa's free gift there. And there'll also be a link in the email that you received today. So you can click on the link there and download it there too. It's fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your free gift.
Well, it's about getting back into the dating world, or just if you're starting, it's some ideas for how to go online, how to meet men in real life, which is not real common now. I have to say, since we're in the time of COVID, can I share something about that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of my clients have found great relationships during this time. You have to be safe about it, but people are more serious now. They don't want to be alone. In the United States, as you could tell from how I'm dressed, we're coming into winter. You're in summer, but and people don't want to be alone. So, I give them the tools and the skills, and then they're able to use them and safely to meet men. And it is very possible. So this 5 Little Known Secrets will give you all kinds of ideas. It has some ideas about writing a profile, has some flirting ideas. Some of the pieces right now you'll have to set to the side, but know how to do them. Because at the grocery store, you can still meet a guy with a mask on. You can.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's it. How to meet men in real life is in there too.
Yeah.
But you can find love during this time. My clients are all doing it. And I mean, women in their 60s are finding their guys. So it's not just younger women, it's women of all ages. And it's, it's a great time to find love. People are serious. They don't want to live the rest of their life alone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for everything you've shared. There's been some real light bulbs and insights in what you've shared today.
I'm so glad. I love teaching about men because I used to emasculate them and didn't even realize it. So now, men so appreciate me because they feel understood, and they will by you as well when you use these, the things we've talked about today. And it makes them happy to really make you happy. That's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. I know that you would have enjoyed this conversation as much as we have having the conversation, and received a lot of insights and light bulb moments. It was some of the things that Lisa shared, it really sent the light bulbs off for me anyway. Keep tuning in for upcoming interviews. We have more women in midlife who are all specializing in their own field, sharing with you how you can rediscover you, find new direction, and thrive in your next chapter. More on health, more on mindset, menopause, career, wealth, and lots more. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deb. It was fun.
And thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.